Welcome to Rap in Order, the interrogation of a hip-hop album, where we take some of the culture's most beloved hip-hop albums, put them on the stand, see if they stood the test of time. Now let's see who we got on the stand today.
Order in the court!
Welcome to another episode of Rap in Order. I'm First Class Regg.
I'm Taurian B.
So today, we're getting into an album that is centered in Queens. So we had to have a very special guest who was adamant about joining us because, you know, and guys, we talk about albums all the time, like throughout the day with this guy, right? And if it's Queens, he makes it his business to give us a visit. Talking about none other than G.O.A.T himself.
Yes.
Joining us today. What's up, Quincy?
What's up, my brothers? How you doing, man?
Good, bro. It's good to have you. It's
Nah,
been a minute.
It's good to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been watching us and like following us over the years, Quincy is one of the shyest people ever and like never wants to talk. This man said, I will be there for this album. Like, we've done Nas projects, we've done Mobb Deep projects, but for whatever reason, he said he had to be here for this album.
This one.
And I think it's so that he can get kicked out of Queens.
Nah,
I mean,
man.
he came repping Queens. You see the hat?
You know,
we getting off to a good start.
Listen,
oh,
man.
we got the tribe on the side.
Yeah.
Oh, it's big Queens today.
But I'm just
Big
saying,
Queens.
like, you know what, whatever he hear, like, whatever he don't like that you say, he gonna call you a meatball.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he might block you. He blocked me.
I did.
So
I did not block.
Yeah, he blocked me on
Who?
Twitter.
Oh
He
shit.
got blocked by the code.
He blocked me, but it's all right. But so if you didn't guess, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting into an album from LL Cool J. This one is titled GOAT, Greatest of All Time, featuring James T. Smith. It was released in 2000. It was released in September of that year. And this album came at a time when we hadn't fully, as a hip hop community, familiarized ourselves with the GOAT acronym fully. Like, it was still, like, it was known, like, in sports and shit. You know, you had Earl the GOAT, Man the GOAT. You had
Muhammad Ali.
You have Muhammad Ali, obviously. But he was one of the ones that anchored it, like, in hip hop, like, fully embraced the term. But I want to get into, like, Q, like, what about this album made you adamant to, like, want to join?
For me, it was just mostly because it's L, and you know, I grew up. I moved to Long Island, but most of my life was in not just Queens, but St. Albans, and LL's name, you know, rang bells. You know, his grandmother's house was like right behind my family's house. You know, my mom, my aunt said you should see him. So his name, he always kind of, you know, holds a high place on my list. So anytime we talking LL, and there's a particular record on here that that means a lot. And I thought it was fire, super fire. So we're gonna get into it.
Is it Farmers?
Hell no.
Okay.
I don't like that song. I like what the song is about, but I don't like that song.
Okay.
Actually, the song I'm talking about is actually a bonus.
Okay.
It's not-
okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
This album was predominantly handled by DJ Scratch, which says a lot. You know, you got a lot of big hip hop elements on here, like how L would do. You know, you got Big Cap on here. You got Funk Flex, which was a big song at the time when it came out. You got DMX, you got Snoop Dogg, just some of the features. You got Method Man, you got Redman. But what were your thoughts on this album when it dropped, T?
Shit. So my mom is a huge hip hop fan, as I've talked about many times. So when this project came out, like, I remember my mom had it, and we went on a road trip to South Carolina. So she was playing this album, like, and we're listening to it, and I remember the build up to this project because Il Bomb came out on the Tunnel project, and that was a big deal because, like, you know, it was right after, like, him and Cannabis had, like, their whole back and forth. So, like, people was like, oh shit, like, LL is, like, you know, everybody thought he was going, like, Hollywood in the house and everything like that, but, like, nah, he's back for blood. Like, he's, you know, coming for everybody. So with that being said, like I was like really interested to hear this project. So then like when I heard the name of it, greatest of all time, and like but it was spelled out. Cause at first I was like, why the fuck is he calling himself GOAT? Like, but you know when I saw the acronym, I was like, damn. And that was like one of the first times that I actually like thought about because. I was still young, but that was one of the first times I thought about like, yo, who is the best rapper? Like, is LL the greatest? Because when you think about it, LL Cool J is the first rap superstar. He's the flagship artist of Def. He's the flagship artist of Def Jam, and some people might say he's the flagship artist of rap music, right? Because before that, everybody had to be in a group. So he was like solo. Like I know Curtis Blow was a big deal, but like LL surpassed what Curtis Blow did as a solo artist. You know what I'm saying? And Melly Mel. Right, so pretty much like he laid out the blueprint. So like it just made me like think about. Come on, LaShawn. It made me think about what does that mean? What does that look like? Because it's something you never really gave that like thought. So then that made the conversation like a thing, and people had to like talk about that. So like going to school and like me. Talking to my friends, I'm like, yeah, LL Cool J is the greatest rapper of all time. They're like, yo, fuck out of here. Jay-Z's the greatest rapper of all time. Biggie's the greatest rapper of all time. Like they're like Jay-Z, Biggie, and Nas. It's like a thing. Tupac, so like that was just discussions. And then me over here like being wanting to be young Taurian the historian. I'm like, well, technically, well, actually, LL Cool J, but it's like they were like LL can't out rap this person. He can't do that. I'm like, he just beat Cannabis, and at that time, Cannabis was like respected. So like in my head, I was like,
and came with a wild that shit was fire. Second round knockout was crazy.
Yeah. It was good. Yeah. So it like but as like my musical taste has like grown, like I understand like why so many people like didn't agree that LL is the GOAT. But I like what I'm saying, I just felt like he had a very strong ass argument.
I think he did because I mean nobody was gonna argue with him on that back then because. He was an active artist since '85, well into the 2000s. This album came out in 2000, and he was still active and still popular and still maneuvering the way that he was, like in Hollywood and everything. And I think he just had a point to prove with this, as being a rapper that's like not just going for Hollywood, because you know what they say about rappers that like start out and they go into Hollywood shit.
Right.
They never really come back the same. And on this, I think he was like on a mission to kind of still showcase his hunger as an MC.
Right. And he started taking the hat off.
Yeah.
So a lot of people felt like, oh man, that's his Achilles heel right there. Yeah. But LL could fight, so it wasn't going to be too much snapping and joking and shit like that. But nah, like if you like really think about it, like especially at this time, right? So when this project came out, In the House was on pretty much going off television, but he had Halloween 2.0 come out.
Any Given
Sunday, which we're going to talk about that. Deep Blue Sea came out. And damn, there's another movie that he did.
Into Deep?
Into Deep, where he played God.
Yeah.
Take it. Yeah.
Love it.
God. So, he was really like on that type of time. So people was just like, oh, you trying to be Will Smith, this and that, and it's just very cool. And he was the first. He was just the first of a lot of stuff in rap music and the culture of hip hop, like because he was doing both and his longevity, like his career was spanning 20 years, and everybody like nobody could do that. Like his peers weren't popular in '99. Well, as popular. Like Rakim was still like had a buzz, but like he wasn't like at that level, superstar or anything like that. It was like Run DMC. They were by that time they were still putting out products, but they were done. Slick Rick had just came home from jail around that time, but like it was just like everybody was just happy he came home. Like a lot of his peers, KRS-One, like he put out a product, but it wasn't it wasn't going to be number one on Billboard.
Yeah,
like LL, like he still was putting out number one albums, putting out chart-topping records. Like that's what I mean. Like
he was comfortably juggling everything that he was doing in his career at the time. Nothing was like at fault. Nothing was like suffering because the other was successful.
Right.
He was really juggling all things, and we didn't see it on that level back then.
Right.
So to get into the actual album, so this album, like I said, you got a bunch of big name features on here, right? And then I think the first taste of this album was Imagine That, produced by Rockwilder.
Yeah.
And I likened it back then to like another version of Doing It. which was like another big song for him, like earlier in his maybe 2 albums before this one.
Or like Pink Cookies in a Plastic Bag.
Mr. Smith.
You know? Man. I love
Mr.
Freak
Smith.
Nigga.
But I don't want to skip over the intro because the intro is hard.
Produced by Bim.
Yeah. This intro is crazy.
Infamous Bimmy.
And he did a rendition of he mixed 2 songs. So like on Rap City. He did this on Rap City, and he did You Can't Fuck With Me on Rap City. He blended both of those verses, and he did it on Rap City. That's the infamous Rap City episode where he sat on the toilet. Remember that?
Yes.
He sat on the toilet, he moved the mic to himself, and he was just rapping. Like, I'm shitting on these niggas. And I was like, oh, this nigga is crazy.
That's a cocky motherfucker, man.
This album also, like, LL's sense of humor is very, 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 like, it's very, like,
it's aggressive.
It's aggressive, and it's, like, an acquired taste. And, like, basically, like, he'll gaslight you if you, like, call him out on something. Like, oh, you don't like women? I do this for women. Anything, I don't do nothing for men. I do it for women, like, and then you just like, all right, bro, like,
but then
like, and you know he's not. I'm sorry, and you know he's not lying. Like, if he be like, yo, I just had sex with 6 women at one time, like you don't think I'm lying if he say that to you? You like, but women like that, Joe.
But he doesn't want you to see him a certain way. Like, he wants you to see him the way that he wants you to see him. He don't want you to have no other perception of him than what he's giving you. And this album came at an interesting time because, like we said, we mentioned this album came after his beef with Cannabis, right? So, like, I feel like he needed something like that. And I thought about it recently, and I was like, yo, like, this is probably what, like, Drake went through to, like, update it, right? Because Drake went through something like this in 2016 when he had his beef with Meek, because everybody wasn't seeing him as a serious rapper. So, like, he used his beef with Meek since he won it to kind of showcase to everybody that, like, he can rap.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you see parallels between Drake and LL?
Yeah, I do.
There's so many, right?
Yeah, there's a lot. When on my revisit to this album, I was like, damn, yeah, because there's mad Cannabis disses throughout this album.
Facts.
He just, like, throws it out there because that's the body that he just caught the year prior.
That's true.
I
didn't think about that.
You know, in the linear notes, he thinks of inspiration.
Oh, word.
he get him to thank you in the thank you notes.
And that's a given, because I think with that beef, leading up to that, everybody was just like wrote LL off as like just ladies man. He does his ladies hits and he get out the way,
licks his lips, rolls up one pant leg,
and he get out the way. But like, people kind of forgot the essence of the type of MC that LL is, and Cannabis helped him revisit that. So yeah, he should thank him. I think he used that as leverage to rap the way that he did on this album, because he disses Cannabis a lot. It's like, yo, just in case y'all niggas forgot, this other bitch was doubting me. He called a nigga a bitch. Yeah. It's like, this other bitch was doubting me, and look where he at. And I'm like,
it's crazy, yo. The nigga Cannabis was just trying to show love, man.
Yeah.
Nigga L went crazy.
And then you know what's
0 to 100.
And then you know what's crazy about that? Did you see an interview that he did recently where he was like, I kind of overreacted?
We know.
Yeah, like he literally was just like, yo, I want to get a tattoo just like yours. And LL just went off the handle.
He was like, fuck you mean you trying to get a tattoo like me?
Like, yo,
what is that?
What kind of toxic masculinity is
he
that?
Said, I just didn't understand it. He said, I didn't understand. That's what he said.
Yeah, he said, I didn't understand it because I only do stuff for women.
But then I thought about it too. If a nigga come up to you and he tell you he want to get your tattoo, like if a nigga came up to you and was like, because you have one tattoo, so
damn, Regg, okay, I got one tattoo.
No, you're not a good example.
I'm an odd example.
But if somebody, but you have a tattoo, a tattoo. If somebody came up to you and was like, yo, that's fire, I want to get that,
I'm gonna make a diss record. Immediately, I'm going to the front of the
Not only
studio.
did he say it, but then he said it in the verse. He said, "Let me borrow that mic on your arm."
Let me borrow that, but that's homage though. Yeah. That's something that's just homage, because it's like LL's known for that.
Yeah. I just think the worst thing is that then Cannabis went on to explain to him what he meant by it, and LL said, "All right, it's cool," and then dissed him on the song anyway.
No.
And then didn't let him show up for the video.
Made him change his verse.
Yeah. And then he didn't change.
And then dissed him.
Yeah. You don't want to borrow that. You want to idolize. I'm like, my nigga, like,
it was fire. He did his thing.
I'll be going off the he. It's somebody else he went off. I think he went off the handle with Ice-T as well.
I can believe that.
Yeah, I think he just did some whole other shit or Ice-T that like it didn't have nothing to. nothing to do with nothing, and he just shitted on Ice-T as well. And him and Ice-T like didn't speak for like 20 years or some shit.
Yeah. Damn. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was like some shit like where they just wouldn't like interact.
One thing on the intro we was talking just to bring it full circle. I was watching the interview. I was watching the Bag Fuel shit. What is it? Esso and Heineken, whatever. Mm-hmm. And they had Bimmy on there, and Bimmy was saying that in one of the verses on the intro, he talks about like going to Rikers and visiting inmates and Rikers and shit on the intro. And Bimmy told that story, and it was wild. It was like they said a man, like a dude was braiding another dude's hair when he came in or whatever, and they went there to like speak to the people and like give them money and shit like that. And then I walked through the door. The nigga fainted, son. He was like, The nigga L was like, yo, I'm never going back there again.
Nigga fainted because he saw L? That's crazy.
Yeah. Bro. L said them niggas can rap.
That was a funny ass story. And I was like, when I heard the verse, I was like, yo, he's talking about the shit that Bimmy was talking about in the interview, son. Crazy. Bro. Crazy story, man.
Nigga famous. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
I ain't gonna lie. Making a grown man faint and pass out gotta be the craziest feeling ever, bro. Like,
was a nigga in the middle of braiding somebody's hair and passed out?
Yes.
Oh my god, bro. That's insane.
Man, son. Yeah.
That is insane.
That shit is funny.
Ladies love.
Ladies love. Oh my god.
I was like, I ain't never going to Inferno Meatballs again.
Nah, I'm not going back there. I'm gonna see you when you get out, bro.
And Bimmy produced the first track. Right?
Yeah,
yes.
He produced it. Yeah, he was talking about
the beat is
fire.
That beat is so hard, bro. And the way he went in on that shit is crazy. And I think on this album, he struggles a lot with the balance of like feeding the popularity of like where he is, of like the female fan base that he's already accumulated by this time, and then reintroducing people to the MC that he is. So like he has to balance both, which is what Drake has to always do. I
just want a rap album from Drake.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, for the dogs.
The dogs. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe this is the one.
I don't know, man.
No.
I don't think it is.
I feel like Scorpion's probably the closest shit you're gonna get to that.
Wait, all right. Well, we'll talk about that.
But getting back into this one, so the perfect example actually is Back Where I Belong with Ja Rule, because he's talking about getting back to the essence of the shit, getting back to the streets and all of that. So like, you see him trying to find a balance on this album. It's just that his popularity and where he's at is just bigger than what he's trying to do here.
Of course, like. When you think about LL Cool J's career, like his career will be like an amazing movie. Like it's literally almost famous for like a rapper, but like became famous. Like he was 16 years old and like became a rapper, but like back then, like I don't know, like it seems like people in the 80s didn't act their age. Like they like it seems like only in the 90s kids started acting like kids or some shit like that. But like LL was 16, but like when you watch it, it seemed like he's a grown ass man and shit like that, right? So then for him to grow up in hip hop and like pretty much be a part of every first in hip hop, he was a part of every like major thing or whatever like that. Even down to like how like iconic his performances for MTV Unplugged, performing at the Grammys, having like one of the first like major rap beefs for Kool Moe Dee and shit like that. I just think about like damn, like LL has seen some shit, so I know for him. Like when people be talking to him, like that's why like when people talk to him about Jay-Z, he acts like that. Yeah. That's why like he always just laugh and shit like that. Like you remember like Jay-Z in the book told the story how his uncle pretty much said, "You want to be LL, you'll never be LL." So like Jay-Z took it personal and like every time he has like a new accomplishment, he lets his uncle know.
His uncle
he brings him up in the record. And LL was like, I don't know, man. No, I just said I looked at him funny one time. I laughed at him.
Yeah.
Like, that's funny to me.
And even on Back Where I Belong, he makes reference to like the artists that are coming up.
DMX,
because he said he frames it like he's talking to a friend, and the friend is talking to him about his rap career, and he's like, yo, ever since the X's and the Jiggers came out, my niggas ain't trying to hear that smooth shit you talking about. And it was like, that's a harsh reality for him because 98 was a big year for Hov.
Yeah, 90 was a big year for
both of them.
For music.
Yeah.
And the lineup of artists that he has on this were all on the Rough Riders Rockefeller tour, except minus Jay-Z.
Yeah.
So he had all
That's
of
true.
them. Method Man, Redman, Ja Rule,
X.
and X, right? And then you know like fucking also Prodigy is on there, which is on that project, which is pretty cool. Emil's on there, another Emil feature.
We named that earlier.
And Snoop and Exhibit.
Yeah. So I think L faced the difficulty of seeing how rap was changing around him. And instead of like trying to mold to that, because he never tried to mold to how rap was changing.
I don't agree.
You don't think
He
so?
definitely did.
I think so?
Yeah, he did.
How so?
Like, I shot you, like, that's not how he wasn't rapping like
no,
that
he
in
said,
the 80s.
I shot you, well, in the 90s, right? Regg's talking about 2000 and up. So, my personal opinion, right, from... You're talking about like 2000 and up, correct?
I'm talking about, I think for the scope of LL's career, he's always saw himself as like being the center of. So like back from 85 radio all the way to the early 2000s, he's molded with the times, but I don't think he's ever latched on to a trend.
But, well, I mean, you got to think, that's not true. Because in 98, the one pant leg up, him making FUBU like a famous brand, like FUBU is FUBU because of LL Cool J.
Yeah, but that's not him latching on to a trend.
He's saying,
well, I mean, like,
I'm
just saying, like, what do you mean as like you talking about musically, stylistically?
Yeah, because so you've even seen that from Jay-Z. Jay-Z has latched on to different trends. Jay-Z has tried to dictate to us what's cool. He has done the fucking hashtag rap. Like
but people, well, I'll say this. When Jay did it, like, you were like one of the first, like, you hated it when Jay-Z did that. So I think
hashtag rap, yeah.
So I think LL stuck to what he knew, and like one thing I say about LL, like, he always fucked with like really good producers. DJ Scratch, the reason why DJ Scratch is on the album so much because DJ Scratch pretty much gave him the skeleton for the album, most of the production. DJ Scratch is a great producer, and he worked with him. And then like LL loves working with like Top Fife and everything like that. But I get what you're saying. Like, basically, he didn't work with like. Immediately work with like a Swiss Beats, Timbaland, Pharrell.
I don't think he's never
but he did do that though.
He's never sold himself out. He's never compromised his sound.
I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I misunderstood you. Okay.
I feel like he like you're saying, it's the opposite. He's been like the trendsetter, but he's been the one putting a lot of these young cats on, like on the I Shot Your remix. You know what I mean? He got Prodigy, he got Fat Joe, he got Keith Murray. Like he's helping like usher in DMX. Like that was like one of his first verses, first widely known verses on 4 3 2 1.
Yep.
So
shout out to Irv Gotti and Leo Cohen.
Which is funny too because I'm like, I'm actually surprised and happy that he's never had like a run-in with X because X had such a big moment and a big time frame. And like the time that he came in, LL obviously was still around, but X, he never had smoke for X. I feel like it just kind of just worked.
I think from what we've seen it with DMX, like DMX has like a very large amount of respect for like certain rappers, like especially that came before him, because I've seen him like interact with like Rakim. So I think like he basically handled it the way that LL felt Cannabis should have. And I think DMX was just like, yo, I fuck with you. Like, I appreciate you. And then he kept it moving. Yeah. And he ain't say like, yo, I want to get that mic.
L is just used to getting his flowers. So I think when niggas don't give him that off rip, he's like, yo, wait a minute.
Like,
what you about? Who the fuck you think you are?
I can't blame him though.
Yeah. So
that's like seeing Bill Russell and not saying thank you.
Yeah. I mean, he's so annoying.
LaShawn is so disrespectful, and it's crazy because LaShawn know we record a podcast, but he does that on purpose to let people know that he did not like it.
Yep.
Disdain.
That's mad funny, and he's gonna watch it back and listen for that
and laugh.
No Bill Russell hate, man.
Rest in peace, Bill Russell.
Rest in peace, Bill Russell.
So, LL Cool J is the title track. LL Cool J. Y'all like that one? Y'all don't like that one?
I don't like it at all.
Two
song is garbage.
I always like the flip of the beat.
I like the verse.
Yeah.
I just don't like a lot of this album. I don't like any of the choruses. Like I feel like the beats are cool, the verses are cool. Like the last one, I meant to say like Ja, the chorus is horrible. He trying to sound like DMX on that one. I never bought into that, but it's like that time he was really trying to sound like Ja. But yeah, on this one,
fuck cannabis.
He said fuck cannabis.
Last year.
he was just so aggressive with his shit for him, and like then saying like, yeah, Wycliffe signed, like, fucks you in your deal and
Right.
gave me your shit. Like what? Like I believe that started like Cannabis believed it, and he was like hitting up Wycliffe like, yo, this nigga lying.
Word.
Yeah.
He had a line in here. What he said? He said, "Girl give him a head while he shampoos her hair."
Yeah.
He was the original DeAndre Ayton.
LL is wild, bro.
Yo, Quincy, he's
wild
today, boy.
He wild.
Quincy, you in rare form today,
He said
boy.
he's getting head putting shampoo, scratching her scalp.
Yeah, that boy different.
Yeah. Quincy, I like this new version of Quincy.
And then he got a version. I mean, he has a song on here, "Take It Off." So like he tries to do a balance of like the street shit, the lady shit, shit, lady shit, and it doesn't work for the balance of the album and how it flows.
Facts.
And it's crazy because to me it's really dated. I think when this came out in 2000, like somebody like my pops probably listened to this was like, because he like my pops is definitely on the same kind of time as LL. Like my dad loves saying like, where all the girls at, shit like that. Like, yo, why you always saying like a bunch of dudes, shit. Like he always like trying to like come at my masculinity sometimes. That's my own shit. But I, like at the time, I think that this project didn't age very well.
No,
I'll say
didn't.
that. But I'll say for 2000, this did okay.
Yeah, because Take It Off is like a cheap rendition of Vibrant Thing. It sounds just like
it does. Yeah. That's why I looked to see who produced that.
Yeah.
I was like, this is Q-Tip? Like who? Mm-hmm. I mean, that was Dilla, right? Yeah.
Vibrant Thing?
Yeah.
No.
Dilla.
Vibrant Thing wasn't Dilla.
Yes, it was.
Was it?
Yes. Didn't he do the original version? Isn't
I'm
the
pretty
Vibrant
sure
Thing that we got a remix? Let's talk about that.
I think Dilla did Vibrant Thing.
Let's see.
We'll look it up.
Let's see. Quincy probably right too. Rez love tell niggas they wrong.
I do love to tell niggas they wrong, but it was Q-Tip.
Oh. Nah, he probably stole that from Dilla. Dilla did that shit.
Nah, Dilla did a few beats on this. I
think he ghost produced it and Q-Tip put his name on it.
Dilla did Let's Ride for him on this album. And he did the other track that he got. I forget the name. But that we're going off on a tangent.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah. This sounds like a cheap rendition of Vibrant Thing. And I didn't like that about it. Okay. And then you wasted Method Man and Redman and DMX's time with that track produced by Trackmasters. That beat is terrible. The skit is like, okay, I get it, because at this time Method Man and Redman were such big personalities, and so I get why he did the skit. I just don't like that skit at all.
Yeah, they tried to do the what is it called?
Yeah.
Torture. They're trying to do torture, but like your mama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It just
LL sense of humor is like.
LL actually told a funny joke though on there.
Do you remember
the medicine ball?
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was funny.
I saw your mom barefoot kicking playing soccer, kicking a medicine ball.
Yeah,
some shit like that.
I miss when people used to snap like that. I ain't gonna lie, I miss those jokes.
Mm-hmm. But let's get into Farmers.
Farmers. Yeah,
he tried to make it an acronym. This song didn't go over well at all.
Yeah. He did try to make it an acronym. It didn't work.
It didn't work at all.
I love the fact that Quincy alluded to it at the beginning of the podcast, like how LL made Farmers Boulevard, like how Jay-Z made Marcy Projects like a landmark. Mm-hmm. I love that, like pretty much that's what LL did. He was like, yo, I'm from Farmers Boulevard, like that's my hood, that's where I'm from. Mm-hmm. People, I'm pretty sure like people at one point used to go visit his grandmother's house because he used to be like, yeah. I remember one time he had an interview and they were saying like, yo, how did you come up with Mama Said Knock You Out? He was like, I went home to my grandmother's basement and I had writer's block. And my grandma came to the top of the steps and said, knock him out.
Knock him out, baby.
Yeah. There's a lot of that.
I think he made that
shit. He probably made that shit up. It sound good, though.
It's a good story. I mean, I guess we can just split this down the middle of, like, the songs that we fuck with and what we don't fuck with, right? So, Q, you got some songs that you absolutely hate on here?
That I absolutely hate?
Mm-hmm.
Not that I absolutely hate. I could definitely tell you about one that I like. We already went through the ones that I hate. All right,
so let me go.
Get into it.
What I hate. In my SS, I fucking hate it. I hate the song The GO.A.T.
Yeah.
Homicide, Farmers, and Take It Off.
Yeah, and okay, I hate all of those as well, but I also hate This Is Us with Carl Thomas. I hate that song.
I like that one.
I don't like Hello with Emil.
I love Emil's parts though. Emil's voice is
bro,
fire.
I ain't gonna lie.
I love Emil's voice. I said
it's
that
awesome.
already.
All right.
That's why I said I like Bia, because her voice reminds me of Emil.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, I like This Is Us with Carl Thomas. Obviously, L-Bomb, Imagine That. Can't Think. I like that song. You and Me with Kelly Price.
That's the most balanced love song on this album.
That song was fire.
It's a good song.
Queens with Prodigy as well.
Yeah, love hearing P's voice, and LL was snapping on that one.
And like I just think it's crazy like how he just would not let up on Cannabis, like on Back Where I Belong, or like basically a song with Snoop Dogg and with Snoop Dogg Exhibit and J.O. Felony. Like he basically calls Jamie Foxx a pussy and says that Chris Rock is funnier than him.
Yeah.
I just think that's funny in hindsight, because it's like, I mean, like it's each his own. Like, you know, people could like argue like who's funnier and shit like that. But I just think that like that whole thing is funny because in Any Given Sunday they had a real life fight. Like it wasn't fake. And they both gave their versions of it, even though like Jamie kept it a buck and said he lost. Like Jamie giving his version of how intense LL was acting, like basically method acting, thinking he was acting like going to play a real football game and shit.
Don't hit my body. Don't touch my body. I remember that.
Son, like, you know how funny that gotta be? Like, because LL's a big dude too. LL's like 6'2", like 220. Like coming down, like James Foxx is like, nigga, like we on the same team. Why are you even this intense?
That's a classic stand up. Like you don't see stand ups like that no more. Niggas calling out names and dissing people openly like that. It's not happening like that no
Terrell
more.
Owens said LL beat the dog shit out of Jamie.
Yeah. Oh, and Bill Bellamy said it too.
Yeah, he did.
Queens is featuring Prodigy. That's a big moment on this album, because it's like, oh shit, you know, he
reached back.
Yeah, he reached back. He got some people on here. He got Havoc production on here too.
He produced Queens is. Yeah.
Oh, that's the one he produced.
Yeah. But that's what I think was also cool about LL. LL also like didn't like shit on up and coming rappers. He gave rappers a shot. He would put them on records and shit like that. Like I think that's dope for like, because you would think somebody like LL wouldn't. You would think that, like, you know, from like with the idea, you know, when we see it, but like actually no, he gave back and like actually and was actually really trying to help Def Jam, because you know like he put all of the new artists on his project.
He just wanted his respect, and he wanted his shine and recognition too, because even on this album he's like, yo, Def Jam better step it up, because niggas is trying to holler at me. Like Def Jam, they know what they got to do. I was like, oh shit, okay, you know, he making his bid. You mentioned bonus track. I'm assuming you were talking about L-Bomb.
I was talking about L-Bomb.
Okay.
Boy, oh boy.
Man, this was big on the radio.
Yeah.
This was like when Flex was making a movie. Like he was dropping bomb. This is back. I think I still was recording shit off the radio.
Yeah,
like,
I was too.
Yeah, like man, he made this and Hate Me Now. Like to me, stand out in my childhood. Like when Flex was going the craziest with the bombs. Like he made that shit a movie, and L-Bomb was on his album.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was on the Tunnel Project.
Yeah,
L-Bomb, like it. Like I said, it was just like his return to form. And it's funny because like LL has had this was the third time that he had to do that. Like it was the last time, but like, you know, it was like where like basically after he dropped I Need Love, him and Como D was going back and forth, and then he dropped Mama Said Knock You Out. And then after Mama Said Knock You Out, he had to do it again, and he dropped Mr. Smith to like pretty much let people know like he was going. He could still drop a like solid project, and he wasn't going like Hollywood leaving. Then with this project, I don't think the project answered it, but I think that winning the beef for Cannabis and then L-Bomb still like let people know like, all right, we'll back up off you. We'll leave you alone. Mind you, Phenomenon is a very slept on. I actually really like that project.
It wasn't received very well when it came out.
It had a bad first single.
Yeah, something like a phenomenon.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to cross over. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was like the Shiny Suit, Hype Williams era and everything like that. I watched that shit. It came on right after In the House. Watched it.
Facts.
In front of the TV. It was hype. I ain't gonna lie, Lil Torian was performing something like a phenomenon.
I think, yeah, that Shiny Suit era had a lot of people fucked up. It had people a little bit out of their element. But I don't think he really... I think he was still trying to make that work for himself. He wasn't
trying the fuck out of himself in that video.
He wasn't trying to fit that mold. He was still trying to just make it work for himself.
And at that time, like I think like him and Tupac was like going back and forth over Kadada Jones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was with Kadada. What was that time frame like? Because he was with his
wife.
girl, his
Simone
wife.
Simone was always well. Let me not say it like I know it like it's gospel. It seemed like Simone was always going to be in his life because I think they had a child together.
Mm-hmm.
But like he was basically being LL Cool J and just dating other people and shit.
Yeah, he dated Kadada for like 2 years.
Yeah, because you got to think like
90s.
he was out on the West Coast. Quincy Jones produced his show.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a whole thing. It was pretty much like, well, you dating the boss's daughter, like we'll make it work or whatever like that. And like Simone was in New York.
Mm.
I think. I don't know for fact. I'm just saying what it seemed like.
Mm. I mean, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
Maybe I guess, because he was out in the open with Kadada.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just think like when like he was in his 20s with he was a fucking millionaire. He was LL Cool J.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think like when like somebody like him, like I think he was able to like give, like listen, like this is just for show. Don't pay attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
And like think about it, we ain't have the internet, so she was seeing that shit in like Word Up magazine and shit like that.
Yeah.
Tabloids.
That shit went into print. It's like, when was this? What is this?
Yeah, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
she helped me on set.
Yeah.
She showing me around LA. I'm not from out here. Shit like that. Then years later, we found out like him and Tupac was sneak dissing each other on tracks over and shit.
Word. Yeah, Kadada's low key. You don't never see her either.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we know about this album. We think the consensus is that it ran for a little too long, right?
Yeah, it ran a little bit too long. Definitely.
Okay, and then we already went into the songs that we don't like. We went into the songs that we like.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys ready to get into your ratings?
Sure.
Okay, Quincy, you want to kick it off?
Sure. I would go with a 2.5 waffles. 2.5.
Okay.
Only because I like the beat selection. I thought the beat selection was good, but I feel like most of the choruses fell short, and I don't think this is like one of the only LL albums in his like prime. I guess you could say, if we're considering that part of his prime.
I think this was the start of the decline.
Yeah, this is the only album that doesn't have a single that went. Like Il Bomb don't really count.
Yeah, so that was a rap record. You're right.
Imagine that and the Kelly Price
that.
song.
Mm-hmm.
That it didn't you don't hear that today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every other album had at least one or two. Even the albums after that had
you're
big
right.
songs.
Yeah, 10 was after that, and 10
Paradise.
You can hear Paradise and Love You Better.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And even the one after that with Timbaland and
Oh,
J-Lo.
nigga. You know what they call him? Big LA. Big silly. Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like it fell short. It didn't even have the single he needed. So yeah, 2.5 for me.
Okay. What about you?
And that's my guy. Just making that clear.
I give it 2 waffles out of 5. This thing basically all I need is Il Bomb from this project, truthfully, wholeheartedly. But I just fuck with L. I just think L is a cool guy and everything like that. L, please, if you ever hear this, don't call me a meatball, anything like that. I just hold you to a really high standard. In this project, it just wasn't up to your standard.
Yeah.
Not to anybody. I don't compare you to nobody else but yourself, Mr. Smith.
I would actually echo that and give this a 2 as well. I think I need this intro. This intro is fire.
Yeah.
Intro is really good. It's a nice reminder of the type of MC that LL is, and the energy that he brings when he raps, when he fully focuses up and raps. And then obviously I need what you call it on here, Il Bomb. Il Bomb is a good one, and the track with Kelly Price. I like the track with Kelly Price. It's good. It's a nice. It's not that I need it. I just appreciate it because it's so well balanced, and it's a great homage to the type of rapper that he is when he's on his Loverboy shit, especially in his later half of his career. I just don't think he executed this properly. I think for what he was trying to do, which was entertain both sides and still make a cohesive project, it just didn't work out. It ended up being bloated and one-sided, and you got DJ Scratch, but then you got Self, you got Trackmasters. If he just let DJ Scratch do this whole album, it probably would have been better off.
I mean, he laid the skeleton. L just went and got other producers. So that maybe LL got in his own way. Mm-hmm. But one last thing I want to say is the reason why we're doing this project is because LL was on Sway in the Morning and he had a really good freestyle. He was promoting his Rock the Bells festival, and he was promoting hip hop at 50. And Regg said that it was really good, and I was really shocked to hear Regg say that.
Why?
I mean, you don't really be supportive of my golden era rappers, you know.
It's not that. It's just some of them niggas don't age gracefully.
Okay.
But
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I will like because I wanna do like a KRS-One album or something like that, But see.
No, you can do Criminal Minded.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I be wanting to do like they projects from like then.
Well,
but
y'all let me know if y'all want to see us review KRS-One, any project.
Shit, I mean, there's other artists, you know what I'm saying, but shit, maybe even fucking Gangstar. I would love to do a Gangstar project. See what I'm saying?
I'm just saying. I'm trying to think about what you guys would want to see.
Okay, and you're right. Maybe some of them wouldn't want to see it, but I know our TikTok followers would want it.
Okay.
I know for sure TikTok.
TikTok fuck with the older content.
Yeah,
the older statesmen in hip hop.
Yeah, we do.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's a pocket on there. Mm-hmm. It's a nice pocket on there. But yes, like I said, all in all, I agree. I think this album, for what he was trying to do, I think he proved it on the surface a little bit of him being still a force to be reckoned with, especially this part in his career. And it's impressive for him to be able to still rap like this, where he was juggling so many bags at the time.
Yeah,
he didn't have to come back and rap.
Right.
And he always did it. He always came back.
And he laid the groundwork for what Nas and Jay-Z are doing now.
Yeah.
He did. He was the first.
Came back. So
again,
he does get that respect and that homage. But I would challenge you guys to go listen to this album. See what you take from it. See if you like it. See if you disagree with us. Give us your rating. Leave us a comment. I'm First Class Regg.
And I'm Taurian B.
We're out of here.
Catch you guys next time.
Dun dun.